Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right here, right now. You're not like other women, and he knows he can't replace you. A man might not say it out loud, but trust me, he feels it deep in his chest. See, every man thinks he can walk away until he meets a woman who hits different, until he meets a woman who carries herself with grace, walks with confidence, and loves with standards. That's when everything changes for him. A real man recognizes a rare woman by her standards, her strength, and her self-respect. See, a lot of people think being rare means being hard to get or acting mysterious, but that's not it. A rare woman is rare because she knows who she is without needing anybody to validate it. She moves with purpose, speaks with intention, and lives with a level of dignity that can't be copied or faked. Her standards aren't walls meant to keep people out. They're doors meant to let the right man in. And when a man comes across a woman like that, something inside him shifts. He feels it before he understands it, because a woman with standards forces a man to rise to the occasion. A strong woman doesn't break herself to make someone else comfortable. She doesn't shrink herself so someone else can shine. She doesn't apologize for wanting respect, consistency, honesty, or effort. She requires it. She expects it. And let me tell you something. A man may not always admit it, but he admires the woman who expects more from him than just his charm or his excuses. She's the kind of woman who makes him look at himself and say, I got to do better. She doesn't have to demand it with her voice. Her presence demands it on its own. Self-respect is what ties everything together. A woman who respects herself carries a certain energy, a quiet strength that speaks louder than anything she could ever say. She doesn't argue for someone to treat her right. She walks away from anyone who doesn't. She doesn't chase love. She attracts it by staying true to her standards. And that self-respect becomes the measuring stick for how the man behaves, because he knows he can't come to her with half effort, half love, or half truth. She won't accept it, and that scares him just enough to make him grow. A man who meets a woman like this realizes quickly that she's different. She's not impressed by smooth talk. She's not swayed by empty promises. She's not fascinated by a man who doesn't know where he's going. What she values is character, integrity, consistency, and emotional maturity. She values a man who stands on what he says, who follows through, who shows up even on the days he doesn't feel like it. And that's when he realizes something powerful. She's teaching him how to love her by showing him how she loves herself. He knows she's rare because she doesn't just make him feel good, she makes him feel responsible. She makes him want to become someone worthy of the space she gives him. She pulls out the best version of him, not by force, but by being the type of woman who refuses to settle for the lesser version of herself. And any man who has ever had a woman like that in his life knows immediately that this is not the type of woman he can play with, replace, or forget. She stands out because she stands firm, and that alone makes her unforgettable. Men don't fear losing a good time. They fear losing a woman who brings peace, purpose, and growth. See, There's a big difference between a woman who entertains a man and a woman who elevates him. A good time is everywhere, fun, casual, temporary, but a woman who brings peace, a woman who creates a sense of stability in a man's chaotic world, that's rare, and that's what scares him. Peace is something men don't even know they need until they feel it. A man can be surrounded by noise, temptation, distraction, and still feel empty. But when a woman comes into his life and brings a calmness that doesn't feel forced, a calmness that feels safe, now that's a feeling he's not ready to lose. Peace is not about silence, it's about emotional safety. It's about being able to talk without being judged, being able to fail without being thrown away, being able to be vulnerable without being laughed at. Men don't get that everywhere because most men walk through life wearing armor. But when a woman brings peace, suddenly that armor gets a little lighter. He realizes she's not fighting him, she's fighting with him. She's not draining him, she's refilling him. And once a man experiences that level of emotional security, he becomes protective over it in a way he can't always explain. Purpose is another thing men don't understand until the right woman shows up. A woman who believes in him, who challenges him, who sees the man he's trying to become even when he's still stumbling. That woman becomes a mirror for his potential. She doesn't let him settle for average. She doesn't let him play small. She pushes him not by nagging, but by inspiring. She reminds him of the man he told the world he wanted to be. And when a man feels purpose with a woman, he starts to realize that she's not just part of his life. She's part of his direction. Most men don't fear losing a woman who just wants to hang out. They fear losing the woman who makes them want to step up. That's a woman who makes him think differently, move differently, talk differently. She makes him question his habits, rethink his decisions, and reevaluate his priorities. She doesn't just add love, she adds meaning. And that kind of impact is powerful because you can find company anywhere, but you can't find purpose everywhere. And then there's growth. A woman who challenges a man to grow is a woman who changes his life without forcing it. She asks the hard questions. She encourages him to heal old wounds. She brings out emotional maturity. She supports his dreams but refuses to tolerate his excuses. She grows with him, not around him. And suddenly he begins to understand that losing her means losing the version of himself he became because of her. A man never fears losing the woman who brings chaos. He fears losing the woman who brings clarity. He fears losing the woman who makes him better. That's why when a man meets a woman who gives him peace, purpose, and growth, he holds on to her, not because he's weak, but because he finally understands how rare she truly is. When a woman knows her worth, a man knows she can't be replaced. There's something powerful about a woman who understands her value because she walks differently, speaks differently, and loves differently. She doesn't operate from insecurity, she operates from clarity. She knows what she brings to the table, and she knows the table is solid even if someone else walks away from it. And when a man watches a woman carry herself like that, with confidence, with grace, with self-assurance, he realizes real quick that she isn't someone he can find twice. A woman who knows her worth doesn't settle for half love, half effort, or half honesty. She knows exactly what she deserves because she's already given it to herself. She's poured into her own heart, healed her own wounds, and built her own peace. She's not sitting around waiting for a man to complete her. She's looking for a man who can complement her. And trust me, a man feels that energy the moment she walks into his life. He knows she's not desperate. He knows she's not impressed by the bare minimum. He knows she's not scared to be alone because she already learned how to enjoy her own company. That's when he realizes, if I lose her, that's on me. Because she ain't chasing nobody. A woman like that doesn't beg for respect. She attracts it. She doesn't force loyalty. She inspires it. She doesn't demand effort. She sets the tone for it. And because she holds herself to a certain standard, the man understands that being with her is a privilege, not a convenience. She becomes the kind of woman who makes him step his game up without even asking. It's not that she's hard to please. It's that she refuses to accept anything less than what she gives. That alone tells him she's not replaceable. See, men don't forget the woman who knows her worth. They forget the woman they could walk over, lie to, or manipulate. But a woman who loves herself too much to tolerate disrespect, she leaves a mark on a man's soul because she teaches him how he should have valued her. And when she walks away, he doesn't just lose her, he loses the version of himself he could have become with her. A woman who knows her worth brings a certain level of peace into a man's life. Not because she's perfect, but because she's healed enough to love in a healthy way. She can communicate without yelling, understand without assuming, and support without losing herself. That kind of love is not loud, it's steady, not dramatic, it's dependable. A man doesn't get that from every woman he meets, and that's why he knows she can't be replaced. The truth is, a woman who knows her worth stands out in a world full of temporary connections. She's the type he compares everyone else to, the type he thinks about late at night, the type he realizes he should have treated better. She becomes unforgettable not because she tried to be, but because her value was undeniable from the moment she walked into his life. A man may compare, but he will always return to the woman who made him feel seen and challenged. A lot of people think men move on easy, but the truth is men remember. They might not show it, they might not say it, but they remember the woman who understood them on a level no one else did. The woman who didn't just love the parts of him he showed the world, but the parts he kept hidden. The woman who looked past the jokes, the ego, the bravado, and saw the boy inside him who was still trying to figure life out. When a man finds a woman who makes him feel seen like that, she leaves an imprint on him that another woman simply can't erase. Feeling seen is something men rarely experience because men are taught to mask everything: pain, fear, insecurity, doubt. But when a woman listens to him without judging, encourages him without controlling, And here's the things he doesn't even say out loud that hits him differently. It makes him soften in ways he didn't expect. It makes him open up in ways he didn't plan. And that level of emotional connection becomes the standard he subconsciously measures every other woman against. A woman who sees him for who he is and who he could become is a woman he can't forget. But being seen isn't the only thing that makes her unforgettable. It's the fact that she challenged him to. She didn't let him stay stuck. She didn't let him play small. She didn't sit quiet when he was capable of more. She pushed him, not out of criticism, but out of belief. She held him accountable. She called him out with love, not attitude. She reminded him of the man he said he wanted to be, not the man he settled into on his lazy days. And deep down, he respected that. Even if he acted stubborn, even if he didn't show appreciation, even if he walked away, her influence stayed with him. Every woman after her gets compared, even if he swears he's moved on. He notices the difference in communication. He notices the difference in effort. He notices the difference in depth. One woman may look good, but she doesn't challenge him. Another may be fun, but she doesn't see him. And the more he compares, the more he realizes that what he had wasn't common. What he had wasn't replaceable. What he had was a woman who made him grow. Men don't return to comfort. They return to connection. They return to accountability. They return to the woman who loved them honestly, not blindly. The woman who didn't settle for the version of him that was convenient, but the version of him that was possible. And when he realizes the world is full of surface level connections but lacking real depth, he remembers the woman who offered him both truth and tenderness. He may compare, he may try to move on, he may even convince himself he's over it. But a man never forgets the woman who made him feel truly seen and pushed him to be better. She becomes the one his heart keeps circling back to because no one else brings out the same level of strength, vulnerability, and purpose within him. Your uniqueness is your power. No imitation can match authenticity. A lot of women spend their whole lives trying to blend in, trying to fit a mold, trying to be what they think someone wants. But the truth is, the very thing you keep trying to hide, adjust, or soften is the very thing that makes you unforgettable. A real woman stands out because she embraces who she is, not who the world tells her to be. And when a man meets a woman like that, she shifts his whole mindset. He realizes that her uniqueness isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. It pulls him in not because she's trying, but because she's real in a world full of imitation. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't apologize for her personality, her dreams, her quirks, or her boundaries. She knows she doesn't have to compete with other women because she isn't playing the same game. She knows that real love doesn't require pretending, shrinking, or performing. When she laughs with her whole soul. When she loves with intention. And when she speaks with conviction. That kind of authenticity is rare, and a man notices it immediately, even if he doesn't fully understand it. A woman who knows her uniqueness stands confidently in her own identity. She doesn't try to be louder to get attention or quieter to make others comfortable. She simply exists as herself, and that alone sets her apart. She's the woman a man thinks about when the room gets quiet. She's the woman he remembers when he's alone with his thoughts, not because she was trying to be memorable, but because she showed up as someone genuine, someone different, someone refreshing. Men meet a lot of women who try to impress them, but the woman who is unforgettable